iPhone 8 videos, interesting ones, coming over these views. So grab some snacks such as popcorn and enjoy. Okay, so let's take a look at the box first. So I wasn't really expecting to get a black box with the iPhone 8. Technically, it's not really as black as the iPhone 7 in jet black. That box was black as it can get, but this one is sort of like gray because it's called space gray instead of black. So it has this dark gray color, but it looks really nice and modern and stealthy. Now on the front we get this reflection on the iPhone image, so that this is an iPhone 8, not an iPhone 7 Plus. Part of that we get an Apple logo on the bottom and also an Apple logo on the top of the box. Then iPhone branding on the sides, so no iPhone 8 or anything, just iPhone. And both of these actually have this really nice matte black font color. And then finally on the back we have the capacity, so 64 gigabytes in my case, which is, by the way, not a baseline model. We also get a listing of everything that's included inside the box, and that's about it for the box. So let me just open up the seal. And now let's just open up the box. And the first thing that we get, as always, is this Designed by Apple in California booklet. Now inside that booklet we get the Quick Start manual, which, by the way, it has now been redesigned. So it tells you things such as the button positioning and so on, and you can find the full manual in the Tips app or online. And then we also get a warranty and a safety guide. We also get a SIM eject tool, which is basically the same as the previous ones that we got for the iPhone 7 and before, so no differences here. And then we finally get some Apple stickers, which are still white, so if we don't get color matching stickers like on the 12-inch MacBook or the Mac Pro, they're still white. And then we finally get to the iPhone 8 Plus. And I have to say, holding this for the first time in my hands, it looks really good. So the space gray, it looks really good. I'll get back to the iPhone 8 soon, but let me just put this to the side for just 1 second and see what else we get inside. So the first thing that we get is this power adapter, which mine is the UK model because I live in UK, but you would get one that matches your region. Also, speaking of the charger, this is still a 5-watt charger. So the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8 Plus, they both support quick charging. That's up to 50% in 30 minutes. But you do need to use a more powerful charger and a USB-C to Lightning cable. So you have to purchase both separately. Now, one option would be to get a MacBook charger and the cable, which would be way too expensive in my opinion. So I've included a link to a pretty cheap and good quick charger in the description along with a cable, which should give you quick charging for the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10. And if you pick it up, you're also supporting the channel, which is pretty cool. Now, going back to the iPhone, aside from this, we also get the AirPods, but not the AirPods. These are the EarPods, so the one that come with a cable. You have to buy the AirPods separately. So these one come with a Lightning connector, and then we also get a 3.5mm to Lightning adapter, so you can use any headphones you wish. And then finally, we get a USB-A to Lightning cable. So unfortunately, it's not a USB-C to Lightning cable, meaning that if you want to connect your iPhone to your MacBook, you still need to buy an adapter or a USB-C to Lightning cable separately. Now, going back to the iPhone, let me just take the plastic foil off. You gotta love that noise. And there we go. The iPhone 8 Plus is ready to go. Okay, so I've been using my iPhone 8 Plus for about an hour now. And these are my actual first impressions with the 8 Plus. So first off, I really like the black look. Now, my favorite iPhone design was actually the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S back in the day. And now this design is kind of back with the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, with that glass back at least. I love how it reflects the light. And yes, you will smudge this thing, but I have to say it does feel a lot smoother, the glass, and not as smudgy as the iPhone 4 glass, for example. So it's very similar to how the Samsung Galaxy S8, for example, feels. I wouldn't really call this a perfect black glass. So yeah, it's sort of like gray, dark gray,
Yes.
which is actually pretty visible if there's enough light. So if there's enough light, this definitely looks like a darker gray color instead of black. Reason why, it's called space gray. So just to give you an idea, this is how the iPhone 8 Plus looks when compared to the black Samsung Galaxy 7 Plus. Also the writing on the back, so the design by Apple in California and the FCC logos, they have actually been removed. But that's only on the US model. So unfortunately I have the European version, which still has these, which is quite unfortunate. But if you compare the iPhone 8 Plus with the European iPhone 7 Plus, you can see that a lot of the text has actually been removed. So it's much better than last year. One more thing that I want to point out is the transition from the aluminum frame to the back. So it actually feels really, really smooth, which I do like a lot. And we also get this black metal ring around the camera, which makes it look even more premium than the iPhone 7 did. Now, when it comes to the new features, there are a few new features on the iPhone 8 Plus. So the first one would be wireless charging. This is actually a major feature on the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10. Now, you do need a separate wireless charging pad, and you do need to place it, obviously, on the charging pad, which has to be plugged in. But once you do that, you can charge your iPhone wirelessly. I've also included the link in the description to a few cheap wireless chargers with Qi charging that would work with the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, and also the iPhone 10. So you don't need an Apple charger. You can basically use any cheap chargers that support wireless charging, Qi charging. Now, besides wireless charging, we also get a few new camera features. So the biggest one would actually be 4K video recording in up to 60 frames per second, and also slow motion 1080p up to 240. But what's pretty interesting here is that those are actually disabled. So if you go to settings and camera, you actually have to go to formats, and you have to enable HEVC encoding in the settings. And then, only then, you will be able to see 4K at 60 frames per second, and also slow motion 1080p up to 240. Then Apple has also increased the sensor size on the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10. So we get a larger sensor, and according to Apple, it lets 83% more light in. So just to give you an example,
You hear that?
shots
That's free.
with the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone 7 Plus in low light. And as you can see, the iPhone 8 Plus, it does have a much sharper image, especially when you zoom in. And same thing applies to the second image. So there's definitely a new sensor inside the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. And as you can see, it does capture quite a lot more detail than the iPhone 7. Now, I'll be doing an in-depth camera comparison pretty soon. So there's quite a few things that I want to test out on the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8 Plus. So definitely subscribe and also enable notifications if you're new to the channel so that you get notified as soon as I upload those camera comparisons. Also, in terms of the camera, we get this portrait lighting mode, which lets you add different lighting effects, such as studio lighting and more, a couple of more. And this actually works not necessarily to, human faces. You can just take photos of objects and then apply the lighting effects. It also lets you remove the background, and you can create some pretty interesting effects with this. Now, another camera change is the True Tone flash on the back. So first off, it's much, much, much brighter than it was before. Hopefully you can see that. And it also supports something called slow sync. So it basically works in conjunction with the shutter speed. And in the end, you get much more realistically looking shots in the dark with a flash. So that's pretty much what it does. So more natural and realistic shots when it comes to using the flash in low light. Then we also get a True Tone display, which is no 120 panel like we have on the new iPad Pros. So it basically adjusts its color temperature based on the lighting conditions in your environment. I personally don't like it because it affects photography, editing, and shooting, so I will probably keep this one off. It kind of feels like night shift, to be honest. So it adds some sort of like a warm feeling to the display, so I personally don't like it. I'll keep this thing off. Okay, so how fast does this thing feel? Well, it's crazy powerful. So as you can see, it's almost as powerful. Actually, it's more powerful than a 13-inch baseline MacBook Pro. So performance-wise, the Apple 11 chip is just a complete overkill. But from what I've seen, it feels about as fluid as my iPhone 7. So it doesn't feel quicker or significantly more fluid than an iPhone 7 does. Okay, so in the end, what do I personally think about the iPhone 8 Plus so far? Well, it kind of feels a lot like a 7S. And, the 7 did feel a lot like a 6SS. So in the end, this iPhone should have been called the iPhone 6 Plus. 6s Plus. So it's essentially the fourth generation iPhone 6. And that's mostly because you get the exact same design, at least on the front. So you get exactly the same dimensions. So the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8 Plus, by the way, speaking of dimensions, they're actually a bit thicker and heavier than both the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus. And you can actually feel that when you hold it in your hands. And not even to mention the display. So it's still using the exact same display tech and resolution as in 2014. It's still an LCD display. Obviously, you get improvements such as the DCI-P3 in 2017 and 2016. Last year with the iPhone 7, the colors are a bit better, and the viewing angles have also been improved with the iPhone 7. But overall, this display is really, really similar to the one from the 2014 iPhone 6. Now, on the good side, you do get a lot of features from the iPhone 10. Speaking of features, and if you want to see a comparison between the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 8, I've actually done a pretty in-depth comparison. So in case you're curious to see how the iPhone 10 stands up against the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8 Plus, definitely check out this video. Now, this is not my full review in any way. This was essentially just my unboxing and my first impressions. I'll be having lots of in-depth videos on the iPhone 8. So definitely subscribe and enable notifications so that you get notified as soon as a new video comes out. Speaking of new videos, let me know in the comments, speaking of iPhone 8, what do you guys think about the iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus so far? Would you guys get an 8 or an 8 Plus, or are you guys waiting for the iPhone 10, or neither, because, you know, the iPhone 8 doesn't have enough features to upgrade, design features and display features at least, but the iPhone 10 is, you know, pretty expensive. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Also, if you have enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, so let me know. Other than that, thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. It's enough tech, signing out. Cheers.
Let me see. Where did my dumbass fucking...
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Floss. Back again with another video. And today we're going to do a quick unboxing of the iPhone 8 Plus Current Red Edition. We're also going to take a look at some red accessories. And you can buy them at Apple.com. I'll put a link up in the description. For instance, exactly the same. So if you get the 64 version, you get $200. And if you get the 256 version, you get $900.
Yeah. I ain't got it no more. You don't? No. Throw them fat apples away. I really am. Fuck these fat apples.
Alright, now, look, I appreciate the red color, but me and 50% of everybody else that bought the original iPhone 8 and 8 Plus would have like that insurance at launch. So Apple, this is not your first time doing this. Next time you come out with a phone, you have the red one. I went with the 64 gig version because this ain't going to be my primary phone. So here we go.